Hey everybody, welcome back to another iiRcade Game Days. I'm your host, Michael, executive producer here at iiRcade. Hope you can all hear me. Happy Friday, everybody. It's a bit of a new setup for me behind the scenes here too. You guys can't see it, but I can behind me, right? Or behind the camera, right behind my computer. So hopefully you can hear me. Let me know if everything's peachy keen, everything's okay, good to go. So, but yeah, beyond that, welcome back to Game Days. It's been a while actually since I've done a live one. I feel like, I don't know. If last weekend doesn't really count. Week before that, it's okay. But yeah, a few housekeeping things, right? So let's get it kicked off a little bit here, right? So first things first, let me go over. Let's see. I don't have a lot of images and stuff, unfortunately. I've been pretty busy playing catch up after last week and the week before. And we have another expo coming up. So those of you who are in Ohio, in the Cleveland-ish area, right? So next Saturday, I'll be at the Cleveland Gaming Classic. So we'll have some machines and stuff there too. I'll be there. We'll be hosting. We'll be having a good time. So it's going to be a good expo. We had a fun time last year. They invited us back this year. Very excited to go back to the Cleveland Gaming Classic. So that'll be a fun event. I know the Pinball Expo is coming up in Schaumburg around here too. I don't know that we're necessarily attending, but maybe I'll be there. Who knows, right? So those of you who are going, we'll find out, right? Beyond that, so in case you missed it all last week, we did have Game and Brew nights officially last Saturday, right? So plus Friday, we were all hanging out and stuff like that too, but behind the scenes, right? A lot of people were filming stuff then too, which is great. But yeah, Saturday night was great. If you missed it, we did announce a couple things. We released Galacticon. In case you didn't catch that, we'll get to that in a little bit here too. Don't think I won't. And then we also announced light gun capabilities coming soon-ish, right? Sometime soon this year for the gold cabinets at least right now. And then maybe standard, we don't really know yet, right? So we'll go over a little bit of that stuff. So, and if in case you missed it, John and Glenn did talk about it on their show on Tuesday. So go ahead and recap that. If you didn't watch it, they talked all about the peripherals and attachments and accessories that are coming soon to iiRcade. So in case you need more info on that, we'll talk about games today, less about accessories, right? So beyond that, we showed off Operation Wolf. So Operation Wolf from Taito will be coming to the iiRcade with light gun capabilities, with joystick, and potentially maybe some other options, right? So we'll see what happens with that. But yes, so we did announce that as well. I'm trying to think what else we announced, right? We did talk about one of our community members. Shout out to Renzo, because we did talk about Heavy Metal Titans as well, which will be coming to the iiRcade platform soon enough, right? So, but maybe we'll get a beta for that soon. We'll see, right? It's up to him. But yes, we did talk about that as well. So it's fun to have a community member creating a game, right, with other community members, which is awesome. So it's the kind of stuff that we love to see. So it's the kind of stuff that we kind of created the company for, right? So we love it. With that, what else we got here? Oh my gosh, my almighty list that I have behind the scenes, right? So let's see. Game and Brew, awesome times too. Also, shout out to everybody who did stop by Game Brew and Friday night too, in case we met there instead of, if you didn't make it to the party too. We would have loved to have everybody. We were a full house, clearly. It was very hot. It was very, very hot. But shout out to everybody who came. It's great to actually meet everybody in person. It's so much different in person than online, and it's so much cooler to see you in person. It's great because most of you are way taller than me too, as we found out, right? Some people just tower over me, I've learned, which I did not expect. Even my own team members that I've only met for the first time in person from Canada. So shout out to Scott, because he is a giant, and I had no idea, honestly, even though we have meetings every single week. So yeah, Game and Brew was great. I was glad to see you all. It's good times there. One last thing for housekeeping too, the Summer Series apparel too. Summer Series is over. Congratulations to our winners. Those awards should be coming out very, very soon, by the way, too. They've been sent out a couple weeks, like 2 weeks ago now, too. I did check on them. They're on their way. So the 3 winners of that too, getting the commemorative coins, they're coming. They're on their way. I promise you that. So just keep an eye out in the mail. They should be coming in sort of snail mail for you on this one too. They're not actually shipped in a package. They're shipped in an envelope, which is kind of cool. A little thicker envelope, but yes. Beyond that too, our Summer Series, our apparel is getting removed from the website because summer's over. Unfortunately, it's time to close out that time of the year. However, autumn's coming up, right? So I'm excited for autumn, and then, winter's coming after that. So we'll see what else the year has in store for us here at iiRcade. But yes, on Sunday night, we will remove the apparel for Summer Series. So if you're looking to pick up any of the summer apparel for iiRcade, get it while it's hot, get it now. It's going away, and it probably won't be back maybe next year. Maybe I'll bring out some new stuff next year. Who knows, right? So just a heads up on that one. If you want Summer Series apparel, get it now on the website, iiRcade.com. All right. With that, it's Game Days. We spent long enough. I haven't even looked at my chat yet. we'll get to that. We'll get to Q&A. Don't worry about that too. I want to talk about the first game. So, of course, oh my gosh, I've thrown myself out of whack, right? Super Perils of Baking by Lily Mo Games has released today on the iiRcade, so I'm excited to have this. Let's play this in actually with a fun little trailer that they made here. Let me pick this up here. All right, so in case you haven't seen it yet, here is Super Perils of Baking that launched today on the store. All right, Super Perils of Baking. This game kind of came out of nowhere for me, honestly, too, and I'm super happily surprised about it, too. Pleasantly surprised, a better way to put that. One real quick thing that I did see in the chat. Let me pull up Hollywood Polo's question here. Yes, we did just release Super Perils of Baking today. There are no new online games this week, and I know they weren't last week either, too. Kind of taking a little bit of a hiatus from that just due to the fact that we had to do all this stuff with the event. I've got other expos and stuff coming up. But yes, next week you can expect some online games coming back out, too. They're not put to the side. There will be more online games. And of course, we'd love for all of our games to eventually be online, you know, as many as we humanly can do, right? Or digitally, I guess. But yes, so thanks for bringing that up, Hollywood, because I totally forgot to mention that. Yes, no new online games this week. But yes, next week there will be more online titles, and we will continue to keep releasing online titles. And coming soon, updates to online features, right? So keep an eye out for that. It's still in alpha. We're pleasantly aware of that too. So yes, great question. Thank you. But let's get into Super Perils of Baking, right? So Super Perils of Baking is a very like Super Nintendo era platformer, right? Kind of like a Mario. If you've played the game Siggy, Far From Melusina, so shout out to Pixel Games too, which is also on the iiRcade. A lot of you love Siggy. If you like Siggy a lot, you're gonna like this game a lot too. Same sort of humor. It's not quite as crude as Siggy humor. However, Super Perils of Baking does have a fantastic storyline and really good narrative and writing, and it's super humorous. Really good to play. Tons of content. So you've got unlockable characters. You've got 50 levels of gameplay plus new game plus levels as well too. There's bonus on top of that. There's different store items. There's a huge overarching map too. It's great. The story is fantastic. The boss fights are crispy. They're really good. So if you like really quirky platformers and things like that too, this game is right down your alley. I liked it a lot too. And it's surprisingly, like, it just kind of came out of nowhere for me. And I had a good time playing it so far too. I think QA's had a good time with it. So I hope that you will too. All right. Any questions that I can answer, actually specific questions on the game itself right now too? I'll take more questions later. Don't worry about that. We'll get to actual Q&A too outside of this. So I want to talk about Super Perils of Baking right now too, right? So 50 plus levels. It's great. They're all really good too. So there's a bunch of different worlds that you go through. You'll notice there's a world map in that video that you noticed too. Again, that's kind of a sort of Mario-esque kind of thing too. But yeah, tons of different enemies. You'll encounter things like flaming hot marshmallows that kind of one-shot you. There's the toasters, the malevolent toasters that, you know, pop up different Pop-Tarts and breads and things too. Different variations. Flying cookies, cookies with wings, cookies that swim, cookies underwater, cookies all over the place. Tons of different styles of cookies, not just chocolate chip, mind you. So keep that in mind. But yes, there are different power-ups that you collect as well. You'll notice you start out as sort of a clean-shaven bloke, if you will, too. The first thing you're going to get for your first power-up is that mighty beard that you see, too. Not a mustache, unfortunately. It's a beard. It's a full-fledged beard, so it's even better. And then on top of that, you'll get the hat. Once you get the hat, you're pretty much fully powered up at that point, too. You can do some fun different abilities at that point. So keep that in mind. Plus, you'll gradually lose those if you get hit. So if you hit an enemy, you'll you'll die if you don't have any of those power-ups. If you do have a power-up, you'll lose it when you get hit by an enemy. Continue on that way. There is the bake up top, the bake letters. There's a ton of secrets hidden in each level too. Keep that in mind. So exploration is a big part of this game. You can collect all the different letters for bonus points. There are high score tables and things like that. Not global leaderboards for this game, but there are your own speed run tactics and things like that that you'll get into in this game. It's a big part of the game. So very fun to play. Let me see here. Questions. Does this game mean that we can get more games from Lilimo? We'll see, right? We'd like to get more games from all of our developers, so we'd like to keep some fun relationships going. But yes, Lilimo's a great developer, by the way, too. Shout out to them in case they're watching right now, too. It was great to work with these guys so far, and we'll, hopefully continue on in the future, right? Yeah, but super easy. I love when games and developers can port pretty easily to the console. Let's see here. So here we go. Okay, so Dan was asking, so the bad guy from the new game is possessed evil brother chef. So yes, that sort of. So there is the actual evil baker, right, cooking things up too, but then your brother does get possessed because of a magical hat, essentially, right? So you get your own magical hat, but he's got his own other magical hat that turns evil due to the evil baker, right? So this game is very, very narrative driven. In a great way though too. It's done in a storybook style, so it's really good. So if you like narrative-driven platforms, especially, I like this game a lot too. Again, the humor is really good in it too. A lot of witty puns and things. It's great for the whole family too. If you have kids, of course, it's a great game for kids as well. But it's good as an adult. I can promise you that. Let's see here. All right. I think that's pretty much it. Let's see, how many stages did I say? Yes, Prince Malcolm, I said 50. And there's actually bonus stages as well too. And keep in mind, there's a lot of hidden paths and things that you can find in these games. So there's a lot more in depth than just the 50 stages as well too. Plus the unlockable characters. There's unlockable characters and different things going on too. You do buy things and upgrades and stuff in the store from, oh my gosh, I forget his name, the giant cookie man. I forget his name. But yes, you can buy items and power-ups and stuff from him in the store as well too. So there's different ways to play each time you go through. But yes, there is New Game Plus mode as well, which is great. So tons of replayability in this game. All right, moving on. Let's move on to our next title, right? So Super Perils of Baking, again, out today on the iiRcade store. $9.99 right now too. $10 game. Love it. It's great. It's easy. Coffee. Need that today. So the other game, of course, that I kind of glanced over last week a little bit because there was a lot going on for me at the event, right? A lot to unveil, a lot to show off. So I definitely wanted to touch base again on Galacticon, right? And Galacticon does have an update, so we'll talk about that in just a minute here. I'll show you all Galacticon in case you missed it last week. Haven't seen it yet, have been living under a rock, the iiRcade rock. Let's go.
Ready Player One.
All right, so there's Galacticon, right? So in case you've missed it, you haven't seen it yet, it's out right now. It's been out since last week. People have been playing it. We did notice a couple bugs, right? So not everybody's actually been hitting the same ones, which is interesting, and we figured out why for a couple of them, right? So there is an update today. I do want to warn you, there is one caveat because we did change up local leaderboards pretty drastically with this build due to a couple different reasons. With that, your local save data will be wiped entirely, unfortunately, when you do update to this version of the game. Global leaderboards, totally fine. They're intact. They're not going to get affected at all, too. But your local data, if you do absolutely love it, it's kind of unfortunate. At least it's only a week into progress. So thankfully, I was like, we will bite this bullet and we're just going to wipe the local board. So don't worry, you'll fill those scores back up very, very soon too. If you have friends and family over and stuff though, now they can actually save their game score with their initials and stuff like that. So now what you'll see is whenever you get a game over, you'll actually be prompted just like old school arcade games, any kind of arcade game, right? You'll be entering that 3-prong initial, all the letters and fun stuff, right? You'll be entering that 3 initial score. And then with that, it'll save to your local leaderboards, right? With that, you can have up to 50 scores on your local leaderboard. It'll only display 10 in the attract mode in the game. However, only 1 will be posted from the machine, of course, for global high scores, right? Global leaderboards. But your local populates now again, and it populates with different player initials. So if you do have multiple people on your machine playing, now you can actually save the scores properly. And you can see them all for each individual player. So, which is great. Leave your mark on your machine. Love it. Just like an arcade. On top of that, another change that came with it too, of course, the attract mode does loop properly now too. I know that it was stopping after like 2 sets. It's now properly loops entirely. Other things too. B button works to get out of the leaderboards. So that was a fun one. I think that's pretty much about it actually too. There's some back end changes, but nothing else. Nothing else to be wary of beyond that too. Those of you who were getting stuck, not everybody's getting stuck there, but those of you who were getting stuck after stage 8, level 8, when it technically is the end of the game and then it starts looping back after that, there's actually 40 levels, I believe, in the game, which is weird. But it does loop after 8. You'll get that congratulations screen. The congratulations screen will no longer cause a freeze. For those of you who are hitting that, not everybody would have seen this. There's particular reasons for that. It's really location data is really what it is. But beyond that, so that's fixed. That's resolved in this build. So do update for sure if you're hitting that issue. And you can keep continuing on, right? Getting those high scores. So we'll see some even higher scores on those global leaderboards very, very shortly. I'm very sure of that, right? So that bug is squashed entirely, which is great. I think that's pretty much it. We covered everything. Galacticon otherwise was working pretty well, which is great. It's great to see. Otherwise, yeah. Questions about Galacticon? Let's see. Does it have the QR in the leaderboard like the Switch? No, we actually took that out too for a couple different reasons. Yes, there's no QR code in the congratulations screen. Unless it was put back in. It was not put back into my furthest knowledge. All right. How do you get to the secret levels? Are we talking about Galacticon? There's no secret levels necessarily in Galacticon. So Galacticon does loop after level 8, right? So you hit level 8 and then it gets harder progressively, right? More enemies. And I believe there are different enemies at that point too that you can encounter, some special ones. Beyond that, there's no secret levels necessarily, right? The only way to unlock anything in Galacticon is to simply get higher and higher in level count, right? So that's pretty much it for that. The higher the score, the more you keep going on, the less you die, the more you'll see. That's kind of how it works, right? Of course, here, we can go over high scores a little bit too. So let me bring up this guy. I'll loop him through a couple times too. Let me know if you can't hear me too. I'll adjust the sound. There we go. So Galacticon, if you do watch the attract mode, if you let it run now, you'll see Galacticon. Is that playing? Oh my gosh, is my video stuck again? All right. Here, so Galacticon in the attract mode you'll see this loop through in the attract loop. This is kind of explaining how you can get higher and higher point values, these bonuses that you can do. So collecting multiple, they're called slaves, multiple slaves at the same time. And then on top of that, the pairing of the slaves themselves too that you capture, if they're brown, if they're red, if they're blue, if they're green. But plus, you can see at the bottom there too, some are neutral to each other, some are hostile towards each other too. So you can get less points or more points depending on the combination of people that you actually put into your cages. I don't know. That you save, I guess. Yes, it's great. This game is killing me right now. All right, there we go. I don't know. Do I have a laggy connection? I think I keep lagging today. There we go. Anyway, but yes, if you're looking for chasing high scores and looking for how to do so, this is a great start, is watching the attract mode and actually like paying attention to what it tells you here, because there's tips and tricks right there within the game for you, which is great. I love when games do that too. But yes, the attract mode does loop through to this, and you can see exactly how to do it all, which is great. All right, I'll take this off screen here. I love seeing those high scores too. Keep them coming. All right. Especially now that things are again, we've squashed some bugs. So those of you who were having issues, they should no longer be happening, which is great. local data. It's great that you can play multiple people on the same machine again now too properly, and you can save their initials, right? So you can actually log them correctly. All right. Are we saving them or re-enslaving them? That's a great question, Kevret. I believe you're re-enslaving them. Not a very PC game here, but yes. The prisoners with jobs, yes, of course. All right. But yeah, unfortunately, I didn't have time to really like stock up on my video footage and stuff to show it off today too. I know. One day I'll get back to playing games live on stream again. I swear to you. Soon, when I have a little bit more time on my hands too. It's a little bit of a hectic week catching up after Game and Brew. Let's see. QR codes. Any other questions on Galacticon that I can help with? But yes, again, please do update Galacticon. If you're not seeing an update, sometimes the servers go slow, especially when there's a lot of things going on with the downloads and updates and things. Just uninstall the game, reinstall it. You'll be good to go. You'll be on the latest updated version because the server itself only carries one version for you at any given time. So if you remove a game and install it again, you will absolutely inevitably have the updated version of the game because that's the only one that's available to you. All right. Cool. Sweet. That's it. That's all I got on games today, which is great. So, but I mean, 2 really good games for you too. If you haven't tried Super Perils of Baking, I highly suggest it, especially if you like those retro kind of platformers. The soundtrack's really good. The art style's great. The humor's fantastic. The story's really good. So I had a great time with it. We're super excited to have it on the iiRcade. And of course, Galacticon, I know a lot of you are already loving it from last week because I can tell because the leaderboards filled up like instantly with 100 players last week during the Game and Brew, which is crazy. But beyond that, yeah, Galacticon's a great game as well too. If you're liking that classic sort of arcade style game, sort of Joust, sort of Defender, sort of a lot of other things mixed into one. It's its own game though. It's its own entity. So Galacticon is Galacticon. You know, compare other things to Galacticon is how I would really do it, honestly. Let's see. If you have a cab that is not posting scores, yes, one, make sure you're logged in on that cab, right? You can always re-log into to make sure that it's really clicked in. You can download games and stuff, though, it should be logged into. You got to contact at iiRcade.com, and we can look into that issue for you. Do send your, 1, your account email, and 2, your device ID for your gold cab. That helps us exponentially expedite the problem, right? So, because I'm going to need both of those to actually look into it on the back end, yes. With Global Leaderboard 2.0, there's still some quirks to work out. We realize that too, and we are working through them. So bear with us on that. But for the most part, there should be no difference between your standard edition unit and your gold edition unit with posting. So if that's the issue, yeah, bring it up, contact at iiRcade.com, and we're going to look into all that stuff too. We're already looking into some of those. Let's see here. If you've done all of that, then yes, just hang tight. Rome is not built in a day. It does take us some time to look into and resolve issues, right? Unfortunately, it's not just you. There's others in the queue as well too. So there's a lot of things that go on behind the scenes that you guys don't get to see. But yes, we are looking into that stuff currently. I know myself because I did it myself this morning. Is there UI update in the works? Yeah, we talked about UI before. When is it going to happen? Stay tuned. That one I can't tell you. But yes, UI UX overhaul is happening. Again, things that are unseen to your eyes, but to mine. Galacticon skin cab. Yeah, that'd be a fun one, right? All right. Any other questions I can answer? Easy day for me, if not. I mean, I do have to kind of cut us off in like maybe 20 minutes or so, 15, 20. That's all I kind of got today, too. I do have an important meeting to get to after this one. Excited for. Yeah, if you post scores on the old cab, yep, but not a new cab, let us know. We're looking into it. There should be no reason that it shouldn't be, especially if it's the same account. Makes no real sense, right? But yes, that is an issue that I've seen with one other cab, at least two. Never on our own, though, right? So bugs that don't happen in-house are always a little harder to test. We have to get a little bit more information on them. No, I cannot give a range of other light gun games that we may or may not have. No. If you are looking to purchase a light gun, it's up to you. If you want to hold off, go for it. If you want to purchase one now, go for it. If you're happy with Operation Wolf, you're going to get Operation Wolf at some point coming up here soon. That's great. If you're waiting for more titles, wait to get a light gun maybe out. It's totally your call, right? Again, we're not really a hardware company. We're really a software company, right? So we're letting other third parties access our system and work with us in order to get them working. We're going to get as many working as possible. And again, it just comes down to people, wanting to work with us as well too, which is great. So far, so good. we're excited about that. A lot of things are working. Like Sending Guns are working on our system too, because they launched drivers that are open source that we can actually use in our system, which is great. So we were able to do that ourselves, which is fantastic. We've got, of course, Glenn working directly with us too. So any of the Glenn's Retro Show products, we are trying to make work with our caps, both standard edition and gold edition, of course, too. You've seen the boards that Glenn's making, or the swappable deck, right? Again, there's an entire stream that they did on Tuesday, Zhang and Glenn, to go over all the accessory stuff. If you do have questions, it's great to watch that stream first. Leaderboards are up and running on Gold Cab now. Great. Yeah, so we can fix these issues. I swear to you. You got to give me a little bit of time here too. You know, a couple of days is not a lot of time in software world. Galacticon fixing within a week itself too. That's a pretty big feat, honestly, with, you know, releasing a game, releasing other software, doing a whole lot of other stuff, right? So there's a lot that goes on. We're a small company. We're a small team. It takes us a little bit sometimes. All right. Any other questions I can answer? Yes, recoil and things on light guns. I actually learned that our guns actually do have recoil on them. So yeah, I've been testing with that. So recoil does work. I see Mike's father is hosting today. Thank you. Thank you for that. All right, what other questions did I miss? Let me scroll up here. Jeff's asking, yeah, so of course I'm going to get all peripheral questions. We can talk about games, guys. We can talk about games. I'm just saying, it's game days. Yeah, so Jeff's asking, so I need the gold to get the light guns at the moment. Yeah, so currently, yes. The answer is yes to that question, too. They talked about this on the stream the other night. Currently, yes, you do need a USB connection because, oh my gosh, Bluetooth connectivity for light guns doesn't really exist at the level that we need right now. There's no aftermarket light gun that connects properly with Bluetooth, currently at least, right? And of course, there's other things that we know that there's like the Wemo connections and things like that too that some companies are looking into, including us. We don't really know if that's going to be working. I have no idea if it will ever work, when it will work. If it does, I don't have a time frame for you, so I'm not going to promise you anything on that too. But yes, we are looking into those kind of solutions, of course. But currently, yes, you do need a wired connection for the light guns that you saw so far for our games. Yep. Those light gun games too, like Operation Wolf, right? They will work with joystick. I totally understand it is not the same experience with a joystick than with a light gun. I get that. I'm not going to argue that with you 100%. However, maybe they will work with other accessories as well too that might give you different experiences than a light gun experience as well too. But yes, any game that releases on our cabinet, we are going to try to make work with both the standard and golds as best as we can. But of course, there's differences. That's just how it goes as we evolve over time. This is the nature of the beast. It's how it is. I can't always just go backwards. I kind of got to keep looking forwards a little bit too. But of course, we're trying our best to make everything backwards compatible as much as we can. Yep. Soul Calibur. All right. What other things can I answer right now? Let's see. Working on good stuff for the holidays. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see, right? We do have some fun stuff still planned for the year. Link it. I can't just link right now. If you go to the iiRcade YouTube, it is on the iiRcade YouTube. Yep. You just go to the videos. It's the one right before this. Potentially two, because I think Super Perils of Bacon is probably before this. All right. So what are the questions I see? Scrolling down. Let me see. Sorry. I get a lot of things. I see 3 different streams. You guys see one that you're watching, right? Here's a great question. Test99. With games that are multi-platform and run their high scores from every source, would there be a way to filter out the iiRcade scores? It really just depends on the games themselves, right? So the scores that you'll see on the iiRcade itself. So if you open up a game, go to the instruction screen and press Z and open up that leaderboard, those are specifically just iiRcade scores. So that's a little bit different. However, if you go into a game like Donut Dodo, right? So Donut Dodo is cross-platform global leaderboard scoring, right? Because they're using their own system to do that, not just ours. So with that in-game, you will see both iiRcade scores along with every other platform that's on pretty much right now, right? So like PC, on Steam and stuff like that. With that, it's up to the developer on that end to bring those scores to be able to filter that way. That's entirely on them. All we can do is ask them and it's up to them to decide if they say yes or no. That's it. But yes, it is fun when you can filter. I know other things like Beach Buggy Racing say when you do Beach Buggy Racing 2 has the daily challenges and stuff too. There, at least I know that you can see the iiRcade icon, so you can at least not filter by it, but you can see who is playing on what platform. Riptide GP Renegade as well too, another game from Vector Unit, uses the same method where they show you this is an iiRcade player, this is an Android player, this is a PC player, this is a console player. Yep. But yes, that's just specifically up to the developer to put into their own game. Yep. All right. Other things here. Good comments today. I keep seeing that. I like a lot of these comments. I'm just not displaying them. Just looking for questions. Okay. Kevgret, if you don't have any golds to sell, are you making non-golds? Yeah, so we are also making golds right now too. It's just the problem is clearly they're sold out right now on the website for the golds. We're over demand at this point, which is great. It's great to see as a company. You always want to, that's always what you want to see, right? So we'll see when we can get the next batches in. We took them off of pre-order for a little bit just because we're still fulfilling backlogged pre-orders, right? So we got to handle those first. So for now, to not overwhelm our shelves even too, we've decided to put them up for sold out at the moment. So they will be coming back at some point. When that is, I can't promise you. Maybe later on this year, we'll open up pre-orders again. So of course we have to plan for things like the holiday season and stuff like that too. So with chip shortages, part shortages in general right now too, it is hard for us to procure those in time for the holidays, right? So with that, we kind of had to take them offline for a little bit for the gold. So those of you who are looking to purchase the gold, hang tight. They will be available at some point. Definitely, if you go to the website, the newsletter pops up. We will put it in the newsletters and things too. So that's one way to keep up to date. Of course, the Facebook community group too will post there whenever these come back up to date. But do subscribe to the newsletter and stuff. We do put that kind of stuff in there. We do them about every 2 weeks right now as the cadence usually. Sometimes more often, sometimes a little less. But yeah, so if you are looking to purchase a gold cab that are currently sold out, keep that in mind. Jump into the newsletter, subscribe there. Pay attention to the Facebook community if you want as well. Those are the two best ways, as well as the streams, of course, too. Here on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch as well. We're on Twitch. But yes. So I know, yeah, we're currently just taking them offline for a little bit just to keep up with the demand of our pre-orders first and make sure that those orders get taken care of, and then we can reassess the parts that we can get, basically, right? We can get for the year and when they can get in, and then we can start looking forward to 2023, right? Plus, 2023 has a lot more in store as well. We're years ahead too. Let's see. Any interesting software changes behind the scenes? Not that I can talk about right now. However, one thing that I did miss with software that I forgot to talk about at Game and Brew, we talked about it, is 4-player functionality for online coming as well too that we've been working on, right? So now we have the ability to currently connect 2 machines with up to 4 players, right? So games like Ninja Kids we showed off Night Slashes as well too, is a 3-player game. So currently the functionality works with 2 players on each cab. So if you have 2 machines, you can smash them together and put 4 people right in a row if you want to do that, or back to back, or however you want to do it. So yes, you can do that coming very soon. And then on top of that, of course, we're working on maybe some other methods, right? Of course, we'd always like to maybe be able to do, 4 players on 4 different machines, or 2 players on one machine and 2 other players on 2 separate machines, right? Those are the different combinations that we got. They're a little trickier. We're working on, a lot of different things behind the scenes too. And of course, online play is still in its infancy. We're still working on plenty of other features for online too. I know you want those global boards or global rooms, I should say, to be able to search a little bit easier to find players who are online. Plus, I know a lot of you want things like friends list features and things too. We hear you. We know these were things, of course, that we're always thinking about, and that we're always, we're working on a lot of stuff behind the scenes. Nothing to announce on that front, though. However, outside of 4-player functionality coming very soon to the cabinets for online play. Yep. And that's 4-player functionality, 2 players on one cabinet, 2 players on another for now. Let's see. Is there, you know what? Test 99, I like you. I don't know who you are, but I like you. Is there a game on the store that people are sleeping on that you wish got more attention? There's actually a lot. So part of this is on our store UI that we're working on as well too, to make games more prevalent. Of course, we can always do better on that and bring them to your attention. However, without spamming you and stuff all the time too. It's hard. It's hard when you've got hundreds of games in the store right now too, and eventually maybe even thousands, right? So as time goes on, it's only going to get more and more bogged down. A game that I personally like a lot that gets overlooked, I actually put up today in the features section, which is Congo Bongo, which if you're a score chaser like I am, I'll get on those Galacticon boards. By the way, just wait for me to actually come at you guys on the Galacticon boards. Trust me on that one. But Congo Bongo is one of my favorite games, which I actually didn't even know about until working at the company. It's one of our Sega titles. It is a big score chasing title. 4 levels only, loops through, gets harder each time too. But score chasing wise, Congo Bongo gets overlooked a lot. That's why I put it back up today too. Let me see 2 other games that are like kind of like really, really hidden gems that I had never really even heard of before too. Some of you might not have, or some of you might have known these games too, by the way. It's just for me personally, these were never in my local arcades and stuff too. But a lot of these games too just had lower releases. Doesn't make them bad games. It just means they weren't marketed well, or they just, they just came out at the wrong time. Who knows, right? So 2 other games I would say that are like really hidden gems besides Congo Bongo that don't get enough love for sure. Let's see. I do always bring up Shadow Force because Shadow Force is a great beat 'em up. And you even get a fighter mode in that too, because you get to, at the end of each level, you get to fight your teammates. So Shadow Force is another one too. You can grab a bunch of different powers. It's very sort of X-Men style game, if that makes sense for beat 'em ups, as far as beat 'em ups go. Great art style. It's another Technos Japan kind of game too. So there's that game. So that's Shadow Force, Congo Bongo. Let me see one more that I think gets overlooked. There's a lot. There's honestly a lot too. Dogyun. You know what? Dogyun is one of my favorite shooters on the system that I had never heard about really too. Played it at Galactic Ghost the other day too. Dogyun. Don't sleep on Dogyun. Dogyun is a great shmup. If you like shmups and you don't have Dogyun, it's a blast. It does have leaderboards as well too. If you want to chase those. But beyond that, just chasing leaderboards, the game itself is great. So Dogyun has a bunch of different abilities, different power pickups and stuff too. You can change. You get like the pink is like it swirls all over the place and like hones in on things. The green does like different lightning effects. I'm trying to think what else there is too. The orange, there's the orange and the blue as well too. The blue is your normal sort of weapon. Oh no, the orange does the arcing as well too. Anyway, Dogyun is a great shmup. It's great. It's also got giant robot mode in it at the end too. So if you like giant robots and you like shmups, Dogyun absolutely hits it out of the park. So there you go. Yeah. So great question. I like that question a lot too. I wish I wasn't so thrown off by that question right now too. If I had more time to look, I bet you I could bring up some fun ones too. But yeah, with so many games, there's a lot of hidden gems in there too. And a lot of games that a lot of you just haven't really tried yet because you don't know the name. You might not pick it up because of that very reason, right? But highly urge you to. Look at those demo videos and stuff too. They don't always do it justice, but use that 30-minute refund window to your advantage too. Let me see here. What other questions here? I'll probably take 3 more questions, then head off for the day because I am on a time limit as well too. Big meeting coming up after this. When will the glass be in stock? The glass is in stock. So glass is definitely in stock too. They get shipped out all the time. We're sending out more today, I think too. So yes, iiRcade glass. We have plenty of iiRcade glass. If you're looking to pick up the glass, it is in stock. We do ship from Chicago. Sometimes it does take a little bit. Literally because FedEx just kind of either doesn't pick it up or they pick it up and then they keep it in the warehouse for a couple of days for some reason or a week or 2 and decide just to not ship it out. I don't know. We're not a shipping company. I'm so sorry. But yes, we do have iiRcade glass in stock. So if you do order it, it does get sent out. The moment we see the order, we do send it out. Yep. Let me see here too. What else we got? I'll take 3 more actual questions too and then be done for the day too. That's good to know though. It's the ETA for new UI. I can't give you an ETA until I know my own ETA. Let me see here. What else we got? Let me see. Questions. Put some asterisks in there. Asterisks. I can't say asterisks. Asterisks is a hard word for me. Asterisks, anything, question marks, things that I can see very more prevalently. Any more Coleco games in the near future? Stay tuned on that. Potentially, yes. There's a couple of Coleco games I know that we have that we're still under fixing that might be out very shortly. Any newer ones that we haven't really announced? I don't think so. But we'll see. Yes. If you're looking for more Coleco games, there's a handful at least too that I can tell you that we're still under fixing that will be out probably later on this year. Minky Monkey is a great game too. Yes, Minky Monkey is a great game if you never checked it out too. If you like classic arcade style games too. It's like a Donkey Kong Jr.-esque kind of game. It's a great question that I also like. What's your favorite iiRcade co-op game? All right. So one, yes, Shadow Force is a big one up there too. But Shadow Force is co-op to an extent because you have to beat each other up at some point, right? So at the same time, it's head-to-head, right? So without Shadow Force, let's see here. Night Slashers is definitely one of my favorite beat-em-ups for co-op. Again, that'll be 3-player online very soon as well too, which is great on multiple cabs. So Night Slashers, especially with autumn coming up, Night Slashers is right on theme. I'm sure you'll see more of that soon. So Night Slashers is definitely one of my favorite co-ops. Let me think, what else do I got here? Dark Seal. I'm a big like D&D nerd, and like fantasy is like high fantasy, especially is like my big trope in gaming. I'm a big fantasy nerd, fantasy buff, Tolkien-esque stuff, Diablo, that kind of stuff. So Dark Seal 1 and 2 for sure that we have on the system are definitely two of my favorite co-op games. Yeah, that's probably my favorite, honestly, just because I like fantasy so much, and those are good games too. He plays the different characters. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Dark Seal 2 is my favorite co-op game on the system, 100%. A lot of dragons, actually, come to think of it. All right, what else we got here? Nick's I will come for you on those Galacticon leaderboards. Maybe I'll play some Galacticon this weekend. I finally do have a weekend off. We'll see what happens on these global leaderboards. Or we'll see if I just stay away from screens all weekend. Who knows, right? Maybe I'll go to a brewery. Let's see. Plus, football's back in action. Mm-hmm. With football back in action, too, remember, 10-yard fights there, too, readily available. Questions. I got 2 more questions in me. 2 more. So what we got? And if the question is, when does the mustache come off? It's very soon. I know I keep saying it. It's getting itchy. Let's see. Nix. Okay, so Nix is asking, Michael, why not? It's AEL, just saying. Why not do a weekly showcase on sleeper titles, a short video segment? I actually used to do this. I called it Hidden Gems. We do it actually on the Facebook stuff for community and stuff all the time too. We do it once a week on, I believe, Wednesdays is always Hidden Gems. So if you actually follow the iiRcade Facebook page, you'll see the stories. We also do Hidden Gems every single week on Wednesdays. Yeah, so I used to do more of this. Unfortunately, I've just not had a lot of time to devote to the stream. Clearly, this is not my main job is not streaming, right? So we'll see. Maybe sometime soon we'll have a full-time streamer in and stuff too as the company continues to grow. We thought about this more prevalently, of course. So I like to be on, but I actually like to be behind the scenes. I don't even like to be in front of the camera too much. So yes, I would love to have more time devoted to showing you guys firsthand what these games are, what they can do, what they look like, how they play, the hidden features in them too, like full segments on them. Yeah, that's a full-time job though. It's a full-time job. So we'll see. But luckily enough, we do have other people who do that kind of stuff too. Mikey used to do more of them for Mikey J's Gaming. I know Papa Brad does them a lot too. A lot of other channels too. You'll see shout out to Brooklyn Menace too. Brooklyn does the show on Friday Night Arcade too. He fully plays through the games all the time too. So you can always catch Brooklyn's channel on Fridays. Plus we got, of course, our own show, right? The iiRcade Zone. They don't always do full run-throughs of games, but they do more of the competition style stuff, right? So, but maybe they can do more of that stuff as well too, for not just short video segments, but long video segments if you want to watch some games. But yeah, I'll think about doing more short video segments. But luckily enough, we do have some other awesome people in the community who do their own videos on their channels. So check them out on YouTube. And then, yeah, we'll see if we can get back into that. It's a good question. Why don't I do that? Time. It's really just time, honestly. I do a lot. Over here. All right. One more question. Let's see. Jolly Green, yes, summer is the last day to order summer apparel. So if you do want any of this sick swag, let me see if I can bring it up here. Bam, summer apparel. There you go. Yes, limited time, for real. I actually wanted to pull it down last week. I just forgot to announce it. But yes, this is the last weekend to order summer apparel. Really, you have until Monday. But yes, I would, if you want it, order it through this weekend. And then we're taking it down on Monday. But yes, there's the towels. There's, of course, Broody Fanny Pack Man, which is, of course, everybody's favorite this year. We've got the shorts, got the tank tops, which I'm not wearing one today, unfortunately, right? It's a little cold in the office. I don't really like to do it on stream too much. But yes, the tank tops, the towels, the shorts, the shirts too, the normal t-shirts and stuff too. They come in a couple different colors and stuff. But if you're looking for that iiRcade summer logo, it looks like this. Bam. It's a great logo. You're welcome. Yes, this is the last weekend to order that summer apparel. Okay. What other things can I ask or answer? One more question. One more actual question that I can ask. Game related would be great. I'm not going to answer the question, Coke or Pepsi. I don't want to start a war. I don't want to do it. Let's see. It's a cool question. All right. I like this one. I'll bite on this one. Zero redo or redux? Zero redux? I'm going to say zero redo. We're going to go French on this one. How did today's game come about? Did you reach out or did the developer reach out to you? I can't go into too many details all the time on specific games. Sort of part of our contracts and stuff all the time too. Today's game, I honestly don't remember. I think, honestly, a community member reached out, brought it to their attention. The developer reached out to us, and then we brought it on. However, I'm not 100% on that. But I can say that every game is very, very different, playing more into this, right? So even with old school arcade titles too, sometimes they're brought to our attention by the actual developers and stuff like that too, especially a lot of the hidden gem games. A lot of times the old school arcade games, though, we do go after ourselves. We seek those out. I don't think there's been a game posted to this day on Facebook. Every time somebody posts something, I've seen that game before, probably months and months ahead or even years before you, honestly, because I know a lot of these developers myself. I see them in my own development channels. But yeah, so every game is very different. Sometimes we reach out. Sometimes they reach out to us. Sometimes people from the community do reach out to a developer, hit them up on their streams or their channels, their Twitter and stuff, especially. Twitter's always the hot spot usually. And then that developer says, hey, this person hit me up, said, we want to contact you. We want to bring our game to an arcade. So that's what we do. Yeah, so it's always fun. Lots of different methods that happen too. Sometimes they just kind of fall into our lap, which is great when that happens. A lot of times we do search out and we reach out to them. We reach out nonstop daily to a lot of different developers. Do you always get hits? No, absolutely not. And a lot of times too, you'll get hits, but those developers too, they might be solo indie developers. They might not be a big team. They might just not have enough time or resources to devote to us quite yet too. They might be working on a new project, and then after that, they might come back to us, right? So it depends. Different teams have different focuses. Even bigger companies too have different focuses. They might just not have the resources at the time to say yes or no to us even too. A lot of times it's rare that we get a straight up no, but it happens. But that doesn't mean it's never going to be, always going to be a no too. A lot of times though, yes, we usually do reach out to developers ourselves, but a good bulk of our modern and indie developers too, they just reach out to us a lot of times now, which is great. We work a lot on those games in the back end that you guys don't know about. We don't announce them until they're ready. So yeah, it's a great question though. Thank you for that question. All right. What's today's game? I missed it. You can catch it on the replay. No, it's Super Perils of Baking. Super Perils of Baking is out today on the store for $9.99 on the iiRcade store too. It's a great platformer. Tons and tons of content in that game too. Highly suggested. I like it a lot. If you like old school kind of platformers, especially, it's old school in a new way, right? So we love doing games like this. Of course, Galacticon came out last week, and new Galacticon update is out now. It's live on the store. Make sure you update. Again, if your update's not clicking in, sometimes the servers get busy. Uninstall the game, reinstall it. Now it's a hassle to do that. But it works. It does work that way too. With that, that's pretty much it. That's all I got for you today too. Been going on for almost an hour now, way longer than I expected to go for. So thanks for stopping by. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for checking us out on the recap if you are here too. If you're on YouTube, remember to always like and subscribe to the channel too for more content at iiRcade, right? But of course, those of you looking to purchase the gold cabs and stuff too that are currently sold out, we've taken them offline for a little bit. Keep in mind that we do stuff through one here. Two, the Facebook community group, our actual Facebook community group is just iiRcade Community on Facebook. That's us. It's got like 8,000 members in it. That's the one. And then on top of that, the website does have the newsletter. If you're not subscribed, go ahead and pop into the website. You'll see a pop-up about 30 seconds in somewhere in between there. Sign up there. And we do about bi-weekly emails. We're not going to spam you, so no worries on that one too. I'm never going to spam you. You can always unsubscribe as well too if you want. However, if you're checking for when are the cabs going to come back online, that's the place especially. We'll definitely put it in those newsletters. Keep an eye out for those. And then until next week, I'll see you all then. All right. Next week we might be live. Next week we might not be live too. I will actually, come to think of it, not be live next week There may not be a show next week. I lied. I'll actually be at the Cleveland Gaming Classic in Ohio next week. So I will be in Cleveland. Those of you close to Ohio, stop by. It's going to be a fun show. We had a great time last year. That's why we're going back. We got invited back this year too. We're super excited. So shout out to Tom if he's watching from the Cleveland Gaming Classic team. They help us out a lot too. We help them out a lot too. It's great. Love it. We will be donating a machine as well this year too for their raffle again this year. So in case you have your chances at an iiRcade this year too for their raffle, it's for their cerebral palsy over there in Cleveland. So we're excited to support that cause. And then, yeah, I'm going to have a good time over there too. I'm just going to hang out. I'm going to nerd out all day too, play some games with people. It's pretty much what I do at shows. It's great. Lose my voice. It's a good time. But yes, Cleveland Gaming Classic, check it out. I'll be there next weekend. So there might not be a show, but tune in to the iiRcade Zone after me later on tonight at 7:30 p.m. Central, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. All right. Check out the other shows tonight too, of course. We got everybody coming up too. Until next week, thanks for tuning in. Game on. I'll play you out with Galacticon. Yeah, let's go Galacticon.
Ready Player One.